you mentioned this was one of the two areas that you're looking into. What's the other area you're looking into
The other project
that you're researching? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm involved now. It's about teachers, and this involves actual field work. At very early stages right now, so we are planning the research. So what we're looking at with a colleague is there's a whole field that is called sort of expertise, theories of expertise, and you look at what it is that people that are really good at something, what's going on in their minds as they perform, as they in moments of peak performance. What is their thinking process? And there's a big sort of debate within that field, and some people on the one side of the debate say, at moments of peak performance, there's no thinking going on. It's all embodied habit. To get to that level, to be an expert means that you've embodied the habits of that you need to do whatever you do well, to the point that you don't need to think about it anymore. And when you start thinking about it, your actual performance goes down. You're not an expert anymore, and so on. People on the other side of the debate say, no, actually, experts and moments of peak performance are hyper aware.
Right.
They are like, they know exactly what's going on. So they're like really deeply reflecting about what they do. And so it's interesting. There's this debate.
That's fascinating. Which two schools of thought is this idea of flow? I've heard this a lot. Is flow both? Or?
I think flow would be in the first one.
The first one,
yeah,
right.
Embodied habit. Yes, yes. Now, interesting, flow is places an emphasis on the pleasure and the ease that comes from a performance. So you don't need to be an expert to be in flow. You may get in the mood of flow, and you're still not very good at it. But
gotcha.
But this one in particular is about expertise. So we want to look at what is it expert teachers do. What's going on with their teaching?
You're about experts. So this context for your research is expert teachers. Right.
And our hypothesis is that a lot of what they do is embodied habit. They're not thinking about the content of what they're teaching. They're not thinking about the specifics, the mechanics of teaching, of how they might think about it while they're planning the lesson, but in the moment, they're not thinking about it. They just embody the habits. But it's not that they are like mindless. Our hypothesis is that there's some reflection going on. But if it's a kind of reflection that interferes with their habits, so sometimes let's say you go with the flow, you're doing something, and for moments of practice, for example, let's say you play tennis, you're practicing your service, and you do it, and the way you think about it, the type of reflection that goes on, you're trying to think about what you're doing, and you're trying to change what you do, and that's what you do in practice until it feels right. Our hypothesis is that teachers don't do that while they're teaching. They might have that kind of reflection after. They're looking back and say, okay, what did I do wrong? How can I do it better? And so on. But in this moment, they don't do it. Because if you think that way in the moment, you interrupt your expert peak performance. But they're not like not thinking anything or thinking about what I'm going to have for lunch tomorrow or whatever. They might, but that's not at their best. At their best, our hypothesis is that what goes on in their minds is something kind of like compassion. They're thinking about the students, they're paying attention to their body language, they're trying to connect. So anyway, that's our hypothesis, and so we have this kind of a study set up that involves observations and interviews. So we observe them teaching, and we'll kind of record key moments when we see key interactions, and then we interview them and try to get from them descriptions of what was going on in those moments.
Right. Okay. Cool. So that's this theory of expertise in the context of teaching. The way you guys researching that is you're out there, you're observing, you're interviewing, things like that. Excellent.